My name is Olivia Mueller. I'm a conservation technician with TTCD, and I'm here to talk about Elodea. Elodea, or Elodea canadensis, it's called Elodea up in Alaska commonly, and in the lower 48 people call it Elodea. Its common name is also common waterweed, but it is an aquatic plant that up here in Alaska is invasive. This here is Elodea. It tends to grow pretty upright, so from above you'll see kind of these tall stalks, and the big identifier is it's pretty perfect looking. It's grows in these upright segments, and the leaves come out from the stem in whorls of 3. So these, if you were to break it, the leaves come out in 3s. And it can be a single segment like this, or sometimes they are branched. And so as you can see, this one has a root coming out. So a fragment like this can break off and root somewhere else. Another thing to note with ID is that it's really bright green, and especially in shoulder seasons, it'll be bright green when other vegetation is brown and dying. Elodea is really good at growing even in low light levels. So one of the problems is that during the winter it'll continue to grow, and that's why it's able to take over some of these places, is it just grows throughout the season and doesn't die back like a lot of our other native vegetation. Elodea is concerning for Alaska's waterways for a variety of reasons. First of all, it's not native here, and it behaves like an invasive plant. It tends to take over shorelines where it grows. It outcompetes native vegetation and creates kind of this monoculture where it's infested, which is problematic both for people trying to move through systems, recreating, flying planes, motoring, because it can take over so voraciously that it mats out shallow watersheds. So people trying to boat, sometimes it'll gunk up motors. And it's also problematic for the ecosystem because it outcompetes native species and it changes ecosystem dynamics. So typically in littoral zones, or these zones on shorelines or slow-moving creeks and sloughs, where plants can grow, aquatic plants can grow, there will be a variety of species, and Elodea is so good at taking over that it'll be the only species present. So we know it's bad for people trying to recreate and move boats and planes around, and also it has these broader ecosystem effects, one important one being that it's detrimental to salmon habitat. Elodea is problematic because it's pretty easily spread. It's an aquatic plant that grows kind of in these long strip fragments. There's some branching, and when you break off a piece of it and move it somewhere else, that little segment can take hold and root and create a new infestation. So just by carrying a piece somewhere, you can infest an entire lake or water body. So that means that a boat that motors through a patch and these little fragments get stuck to the motor or the bow of the boat, those patches can be moved to a different system and infest somewhere else. So people motoring boats, taking them from a system where Elodea is invasive to a different water body, that can infest a new system. Also, float planes can be a vector for transfer. So float planes coming in, either the floats of the plane or the rudders at the back of the plane can catch these fragments of vegetation and transport them all over Alaska, which is concerning for us because there's these remote lakes that might not have a lot of users who operate boats on them, but a float plane flies in and can totally infest the system and change the ecosystem. Because Elodea can take over, it changes the ecosystem. There's less variety of plants that are growing present. So there's been some studies where Elodea has taken over, and they've tracked that juvenile fish tend to grow more slowly. They have less body mass. So there's these ecosystem effects that can trickle. Generally changes habitat that's important for rearing salmon and negatively impacts salmon.